This video will show you to make 4 different value scales using acrylics and watercolor. The first step is setting up your page. I'm going through and drawing 8 different rectangles. Here you'll see me draw 4. I start by tracing the ruler, drawing in the sides, and I want 2 of these rectangles to be divided into 8 or 9 sections. So you can see me there making marks with my ruler and connecting them. Once I have my rectangles all drawn, I'm going to use the first material, which is just going to be watercolor and water. I've got 3 different values of the same color mixed up. I mixed a blue and a green together. I have my water, I have a brush, and I have a paper towel. Now I like to work from light to dark, but it's up to you how you choose to do this. So I'm starting with a lot of water and a little bit of pigment. Then I'm going through and adding in a medium value. So again, still a lot of water, but I'm dumping in a little more pigment. And now I'm going through and adding the dark. Now the key here is you have to do this while it's wet so that it will blend. If you get too much color, you can blot a little bit away, and you can always add more in as long as it's wet. My second scale is the same colors and same material. I'm just being careful not to blend them. If you need to add more color, just add more in. If you've added too much, just blot away. Again, as long as the watercolor is still wet, you can manipulate it fairly easily. Our third and fourth scales are going to be monochromatic, so I'm using one color plus white. I'm also adding in a little black. There on my palette you can see my white, my black, and my color, and then I have a light value and a dark value mixed up as well. Again, I like to start from the light and work my way to the dark. I start by feathering in a little bit of a light value and then a little bit of a medium value. I'm being careful to keep them nice and thick and wet so I'm able to blend easily. Now I'm going over to the dark side and just slowly feathering my colors on top of one another. The goal here is we want a nice smooth transition from one color to the next. Acrylics can dry really quickly, so you have to work fast. And you can always let it dry and add a little more over the top if you'd like. This next scale is the same as the watercolor one above it. I'm reusing these colors from my monochromatic scale, except for this time, I'm not allowing them to blend together. Now, my fifth and sixth scale are going to be using 2 complementary colors. The 2 I've chosen are green and red. So I'm starting with red on one side of my scale and green on the other. When you mix 2 complements together, you should get a black or a very deep brown, so I'm putting that towards the middle. And then I'm just working my way over to the green. I kept that black color and I slowly started adding more green and now even more green so that there is a transition from that to the green. Now I'm doing the same on the red side. I started with that middle black. I'm adding a little more red, a little more red, and a little more red. My blended scale here was a little tricky because these 2 colors do not naturally blend together. They form to make a black in the middle. So I started with my red on the left and my green on the right, and I'm slowly blending and just feathering them, layering them together using horizontal brush strokes so I'm able to easily blend, getting that transition as smooth as I can. My next scale is going to involve 3 analogous colors. And analogous colors are 3 colors next to each other on the color wheel. I've chosen blue violet, blue, and blue green. Just like the scales above, I'm starting with blue green on the right, blue in the middle, and blue violet on the left. Now I'm working with the blue and I'm slowly adding more violet or purple into it to get it to transition to the left, and slowly adding more blue-green in it to get it to transition to the right. Now for this final scale, I'll start with the blue-green on the right. I'm going to slowly blend and feather it towards the middle, add some blue in the middle there, try to get those 2 to have a nice transition. And then I'll end by adding some blue violet on the left and having that transition flow together as nicely as I can. If I were to do this again, I would have mixed a little white in with these colors so they wouldn't quite dry so dark. But again, the idea with the long scales is that we have a smooth transition, and the segmented scales that we can clearly see each color separately.